Hello everyone, welcome back to the Global Alert TV channel. Please subscribe and like my videos to stay updated with global developments, defense updates, and geopolitical changes happening around the world. Today we're diving into a tense and fast-developing situation involving Belarus and Russia, where reports have emerged suggesting that around 300 Belarusian soldiers have taken an unexpected and aggressive stance against Russian forces. While details are still emerging, this development has sent ripples across Eastern Europe and the entire international community. In this video, we will explore the exterior picture of what's happening on the ground, the deeper interior motives behind it, performance aspects in terms of military and political reactions, safety concerns for regional stability, the unique features of this confrontation, the political price Belarus might pay, and finally, the broader conclusion about where this situation might lead. From the exterior view, the confrontation appears to be a sudden breakdown in coordination between allies that were once politically aligned. For years, Belarus under Alexander Lukashenko has been one of Russia's closest partners, providing logistical support, territory, and even diplomatic cover for several of Moscow's operations. But now, visuals and early intelligence reports indicate a small yet organized Belarusian military unit has clashed with Russian troops near shared operational zones close to the border. What makes this exterior situation even more alarming is the speed at which it unfolded. Eyewitnesses describe a sudden escalation following disputes over command authority, logistics, and territorial control within shared bases. The initial skirmishes reportedly lasted several hours, resulting in military vehicles being seized and several outposts overrun. For the region, this isn't just a tactical event, it's a signal that internal cracks might be forming within the alliance that once looked unbreakable. Digging into the interior dynamics, this is where the situation gets more complex and politically sensitive. The relationship between Minsk and Moscow has always been one of convenience rather than trust. Lukashenko's regime has relied heavily on Russian financial and military assistance to survive international sanctions and domestic protests. Yet, Belarus has also resisted full absorption into Russia's control. Inside the Belarusian military, there have long been tensions between officers loyal to Russia and those who prefer a more independent Belarusian stance. According to regional analysts, this recent conflict may have been triggered by resentment toward Russian dominance, supply disputes, or even orders that clashed with Belarus's national interests. Many Belarusian soldiers reportedly expressed frustration about being used as auxiliary forces without adequate recognition or reward. The growing sense of exploitation may have been the emotional fuel behind this sudden act of defiance. The interior atmosphere in Belarus, especially among younger military officers, is one of suppressed anger and uncertainty. They see their country's sovereignty being slowly overshadowed, and this clash might have been a symbolic reaction rather than a coordinated rebellion. Performance-wise, both sides responded swiftly but cautiously. Russian forces reportedly moved to contain the situation within hours, deploying reinforcements and securing strategic checkpoints to prevent escalation. The performance of Belarusian soldiers was surprisingly disciplined. Reports indicate they acted with precision, targeting communication hubs and supply vehicles rather than indiscriminate violence. This suggests that the group might have had prior planning and was focused on sending a message rather than waging a prolonged battle. In terms of information control, both Moscow and Minsk have downplayed the incident publicly. Russian media initially ignored the story, while Belarusian state outlets labeled it as an isolated misunderstanding. However, Western intelligence agencies have taken a different view, interpreting the event as an early indicator of internal dissent. Performance also extends to how these governments handle international optics. Belarus, already under global scrutiny for human rights abuses and political repression, can ill afford another controversy, while Russia is eager to maintain the image of control and unity, especially amid its ongoing military commitments elsewhere. Safety concerns now loom large across the region. Whenever a military confrontation occurs between allied states, even on a small scale, the potential for escalation is unpredictable. Border communities are on alert. NATO countries nearby, especially Poland and Lithuania, are monitoring the situation closely. The fear is not that this incident will immediately lead to full-scale war, but that it may embolden other factions inside Belarus or create confusion among Russian units stationed abroad. The humanitarian angle also deserves attention. Civilians living near the conflict zones face renewed anxiety, fuel supplies are being restricted, and communications have become unstable in several areas. Analysts warn that any miscalculation at this stage could spiral into a larger regional disturbance. The safety of both countries' citizens and the stability of Eastern Europe now depend on restraint, communication, and political maturity from both leaderships. The unique selling point of this situation, if one may describe it analytically, lies in how it exposes the fragile architecture of post-Soviet alliances. For decades, Russia's power in Eastern Europe has depended on loyalty networks rather than formal treaties. Belarus was seen as the most loyal of all, yet this incident shows that loyalty based on dependency can be temporary. The uniqueness also comes from the symbolic weight of Belarusian soldiers turning their arms against Russian counterparts. It highlights the shifting psychology of soldiers who are caught between national duty and political manipulation. Moreover, it provides the world with a rare glimpse into the undercurrents of dissent within what appeared to be a united front. Strategically, this may lead to a re-evaluation of how Russia manages its regional allies, and how smaller nations like Belarus balance survival with sovereignty. In terms of the price, the consequences for Belarus could be steep. Economically, it risks losing Russian subsidies, energy discounts, and political backing that have kept its regime afloat. Politically, Lukashenko's government could face internal divisions as he decides whether to punish the rebels harshly or quietly absorb the damage. Either choice carries risk. Punishment could create more resentment in the ranks, while forgiveness might embolden further defiance. For Russia, the price is reputational. It raises doubts about Moscow's ability to maintain influence over its closest allies. If word spreads that even Belarus is showing resistance, it could encourage similar autonomy movements in other dependent states. The international price is also significant. Western nations are likely to use this event as proof that authoritarian alliances are inherently unstable, which may shape future diplomatic strategies toward Eastern Europe. As we move toward the conclusion, one thing is clear: this incident is not merely about 300 soldiers. It's about the invisible fractures that run through power structures built on coercion and control. The Belarusian attack on Russian forces, whether spontaneous or semi-organized, represents the manifestation of a long-suppressed national struggle for identity. For the ordinary people of Belarus, it may rekindle the question of who truly commands their loyalty, the Kremlin or their homeland. For Russia, it signals the growing fatigue of its military footprint and the erosion of trust among its partners. For the rest of the world, it serves as a cautionary tale about the limits of political dominance in an age of uncertainty. If peace is to prevail, both Moscow and Minsk will need to address the underlying causes: unequal power relations, economic pressure, and the absence of genuine mutual respect. The best outcome would be dialogue, reform, and restraint. However, given the history of both regimes, analysts are cautious. The next few weeks will be crucial in determining whether this was a brief episode or the beginning of a deeper geopolitical shift in Eastern Europe. And that wraps up today's analysis. Thank you for watching Global Alert TV. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with global defense, strategy, and world affairs analysis. Stay safe, stay informed, and see you in the next report.